Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Mob Tales, or the first episode that I'm participating in on Mob Tales. I started
That's
talking
right.
to Jimmy like last week, and we were talking about Henry Hill, and so I kind of wanted to know more about him because one of my favorite movies has Ray Liotta starring in it, in The Goodfellas, and so
Right.
because of that, he's
Goodfellas.
one of my favorite characters. Because I liked Henry, but I'm going to default to Jim. Another team that we'll talk about is the Bilotti brothers. I'm sure Jimmy
Yeah.
has a lot of knowledge about that. And so let's just get into some stories and kick it off. So look,
Yeah.
Jimmy, what do you know about Ray Liotta? I mean, not Ray Liotta. Oh my God,
Well,
Henry
I,
Hill.
okay, you said The Goodfellas was one of your favorite movies, right?
It is. It is.
Well, that movie was really given to him, and Martin Scorsese broke the storyline down, all pertaining to Henry Hill's story. I mean, this is how it went down. This is how we met. This is what was going on, and that's pretty truthful. He was
Okay.
never a murderer. I know a lot of people that knew him. He was never a murderer, but he witnessed a lot of murders, and he
Oh,
and
I'm
he was
sure.
involved with a lot of crazy stuff. But honestly, he was not a murderer. He was actually a very charismatic guy. He knew how to make money.
Okay.
What happened with him and Paul is actually really true because they did try to kill him, and that's why he went state's witness, and he knew that.
Yeah.
And again, he was warned about the drugs, and that's why they all got in trouble. They all went down because of his foolishness.
Yeah.
And again, he started mingling in it. He was doing coke, and his wife was doing coke. And it got
Oh
serious.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He
And
went,
that movie that shows him really
jail,
bad.
but then yeah. If you ever read the book is more decisive than even the movie
Okay.
because it's really being dictated to a writer. Henry Hill's not a writer, but the way it was portrayed was the truth. It was a man speaking wholeheartedly. I don't think he regrets any of it because it was a great life. It was women and booze, and he loved it. You either have to love the gangster life or you have to hate it. I happen to be a person that hates it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not, a lot of people turn around and say, "Hey, what are you talking about the mob?" Or we're not talking about people and putting them down. We're directly telling stories about people's character.
And
And
you
you
know
would
what? The
say
mob
like,
is so
"Oh,
fascinating to so many people. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody
yeah,
wants
it
to
is
know.
very fascinating." But I don't know how. A lot of people tell me, "Hey, stop talking about the mob. Don't talk about the mob." I literally had guys in front of my restaurant walking outside, putting their hands over their head, going, "Look, Frankie Bar, I'm not going to mention his full name, but wants to put his credit card machines in here." And I put my hand over my head and I said, "Stop watching Casino. Watch Bambi. Watch Dinosaur even eats Bambi. Watch anything but
But casino.
Casino."
Yeah, because you
Because,
get no
they put their
data
hand
after
over their head.
casino.
Yeah, so these guys mimic these morons. And what makes them doing that and then doing it in real life, trying to make like they're scheming.
Mm,
I
mm, mm.
remember people getting arrested for credit cards and they were bragging like, "Yeah, I did jail time." I
See,
did jail time because I overpaid my wife and she never reported it, so I was arrested. And it happened to be so ironic that John Gotti's son owned the junkyard, and my car was ripped apart. So that was the end of that. They took the battery out. They took the alternator out.
mm, gee.
Yeah, just really crazy shit.
So look,
I don't like that life. I don't care. These people can say and like all they want, but to me, it's disgrace.
you're
Uh,
just telling the story, though. You're just telling the story, which is
yeah,
cool. I mean, they can't
yeah.
do it to you. So look,
No,
what family was
no, listen, believe me, guess what? I'm not worried about it. Believe me.
uh,
The last thing I am going to fear is from another human being. I don't care who you are, what you are. I stood up for myself my whole life, and these guys tried to get into my pockets and threaten me and scheme and think I was an idiot.
mm,
Um, and I saw a lot of idiots join them like they're badasses. And next minute, one guy's doing 8 years because he went and let a mobster talk him into doing something that he got in trouble.
jeez,
So,
Louise. So these guys
Yeah,
are
I think.
really influential still, huh? They're
Oh
still
yeah,
being
absolutely. And
wow.
I'm not going to say Henry Hill himself was influenced by this. Seeing these guys with the suits and the money and the
In the
cars
cars, yeah.
and the
He even took
swag,
his money
he
in the
dressed up
beginning.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was a teenager, a little kid, 13, 14 years old, he was dressing up in suits and he was playing that part and he was running with him. And, the guy Jimmy, I met him once and wow,
Who
that
is
guy's
Jimmy?
scary.
All right, but the Jimmy character, he's not
Yeah,
popping in my mind.
he's not popping in your mind. That was who Robert De Niro was playing.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Connors.
Jimmy Connors, yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Yeah.
Very, very. He was a bad dude, that guy.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
portrayed him as a
yeah.
bad dude.
Jimmy Connors was a bad dude. I met him once, and I just said to my friend, I met him briefly, shook his hand, and I just said, this was right before he was went to jail. I was young, man. I was a young guy.
Okay.
I was doing deliveries, trying to make money, learn. I was putting myself to school and shit. And I happened to meet him because we were moving game machines, like a truckload of this shit. And I got paid pretty good money for the day at that time. It was like
Uh-huh.
150 bucks. And
Okay.
that's like, wow, that's like 500 today.
Yeah,
So,
that's nothing to sneeze at.
yeah, and I did it. And yeah, he was into everything. Jimmy Connors was into, man, I'm talking about
I mean,
a
they
lot
robbed
of.
that airplane. They robbed Lufthansa.
Oh, they robbed Lufthansa, which was the biggest heist. It wasn't Jimmy Connors. Jimmy
No,
Connors
he
was
didn't
just a
do it.
ball.
Yeah.
He didn't scheme it. He didn't put it together. How it happened is exactly how it happened. The employees got involved. And Henry Hill wasn't involved in that at all. He actually had nothing to do with that. He did some big schemes where he made some good money. He did like a couple of $1 million scores, and yeah, they were
But
robbing
didn't
these.
both Jimmy and Henry make money off of Lufthansa? Off of that scheme?
Oh yeah, they gave. Yeah, they all look. Jimmy
And
Connors,
Jimmy was
Henry
the one
Hill.
to get the money. Jimmy had the money
That's
because he was
right.
knocking off everybody.
And I don't know if you remember the commercial with Morty's wigs. That's
Oh
true.
yeah, Maurice Riggs.
I don't know if you remember that.
I
Morty's
do, I
wigs
do.
was true.
When he's in the pool and
The
like his
guy
wig
goes
is
and it
flying
doesn't
up.
fall off and he jumps in the water. I remember, oh, man, I must be old. I remember those fucking things.
You remember the commercial?
Yeah, oh my God.
Jesus.
Yes, you better believe I remember the commercial. Man, I was a young kid when I was young then. But, I was 14, 15, 16. This is 1976. And that's when I met Henry Hill. I was a young
Okay.
kid. And I went with my cousin's friend to go get these video games and machines and pinball, mainly pinball machines.
Okay.
And yeah, and it's pretty crazy, man. It's crazy. It really is.
Now, them getting Ray Liotta to play Henry Hill and seeing Henry Hill in real life,
Yeah, he
they don't
worked
look
with
nothing
Henry
alike.
Hill through that whole movie.
They don't look alike.
Henry, they looked alike?
They do
No,
not.
they didn't look alike.
No,
No.
no. Ray Liotta was fine.
Oh yeah, but Henry Hill is. I don't know why they said he was a charming guy. He had a schnozzle on him that would scare a snake. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think he was a good-looking guy at all. But
Me either. If I'm being honest, me either.
yeah,
Rest-
they got charming Ray Liotta because Ray Liotta is, he's a good-looking, he's a good-looking guy.
He was beautiful in them days. He was definitely beautiful in those days. I would call him beautiful. But look, what
You
family
know
was Henry Hill a part of?
that's a good question. That was the Lucchese family.
The Lucchese family.
Yes, that was the Lucchese family.
Okay, okay. So Lucchese. Interesting. What else do we know
Yes.
about Lucchese and friends?
Not much. I only knew Mike Scarnetti, who actually was friends who grew up with Henry Hill,
Okay.
but he had told me that, again, these guys, I knew a lot of guys that were on Staten Island were not from Casey's or
Okay.
the Genoese or the Bananas. And the Gambinos and Genovese are still very big on Staten Island, and I
Okay.
knew a lot of those. But those guys were out of Queens. The Lucchese's are more in Queens and Long Island and some
Gotcha.
parts
You're
of
in Staten
Brooklyn.
Island. You were on
Yeah,
Staten.
Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan. It's a lot of Genovese and Gambino stuff
Mhm.
like that. I mean, they're all involved. They're all involved in
Mm.
everything, Malik. But again, they all, hey, you got this, I got that. You go over there, don't go over there. That's my place. That's how it went down. They would have to sit down and they would say, hey, look, this guy's with me. We're putting this part of the neighborhood. You take this part, we won't bother you. That shit all went down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I know that? Because I was a part of a lot of them.
Oh,
You
really?
know,
Okay.
I was in the restaurant. I was in the restaurant business.
That's
I was
true. So
building
you just
restaurants
heard
all
him.
over
You would
Manhattan,
be running the
Brooklyn,
restaurant and
Queens.
just here, huh? Nice.
Man, it's that's the dark, dirty part of the business, the construction and restaurant business. They literally will come after you and do everything. And I can tell you a story what happened in my restaurant with Gambinos, where there was about 15 of them, and my dumbass partner at the time, Robert Spoley, allowed these idiots to come in because they were controlling him. They tried to control me. I could tell you a story, me going back to people and saying things to get these guys in trouble without myself coming out like a hero. That's exactly what happened.
Mm.
Um, but they came into my restaurant all the time, and I literally started laughing. Yeah, we just want to make a couple of dollars. Oh man, this shit really went down. And I'm looking at these guys, and I'm start laughing. I start breaking out laughing, and they go, "What's so funny?" And there was a baseball bat in the corner of the room that we were in.
Hmm.
And they saw the baseball bat because it was shiny silver with a black handle. Why? Because I put it there. I put it there an hour before the meeting because I knew it was going to go down. That's how inquisitive I am with this shit. But anyway, um, they
So
started
it's all
talking about how they started talking about how they're going to get money and how they're going to make money, and I start laughing,
so did they
and
send
I
somebody
said,
in? Hold up, Jimmy. Did they send somebody in to schedule a meeting beforehand?
oh no, they sent people in to grab the place. They were
Okay.
trying to grab the place before anybody else did. And once a
Gotcha.
play, like in other words, Malik, you're a gangster and I'm a gangster, and you belong to the Genovese, I belong to the Gambino family.
Mm-hmm.
You go in and you grab a place, you grab the guy, you grab the owner, hey, you're with us. That shit really goes down. These
Oh shit.
morons do this. And then you got, hey, you're right. Okay, you're with me. And then did somebody approach you? Then another guy will come in. You have anybody with you? Yeah, Mickey Sparks was here. Oh, Mickey's here. All right, no problem. Have a nice day. Mickey, I heard about your place. Good luck. Yeah, that shit goes down. That's
Damn.
exactly what
So
goes down.
that's what happened on Goodfellas. Remember when they
Yeah.
made that man
Oh, yeah.
burn his place?
Look at what they did to that restaurant. That's exactly what they
That's
do.
what goes down in real life. Jeez
Oh,
Louise.
yes, yes, yes.
So I bet a lot of people don't get into the restaurant business because they're scared of that shit.
Well, hey, listen, again, a lot of people are not 6'1" and 250 pounds and a complete maniac,
I
and
wouldn't
they
call
know
you a
that.
complete maniac, but I know you defend yourself.
Oh, yeah, no, well, listen, you know what? If I can convince them that I'm a maniac,
Then
then
they'll
they
leave you
won't
the
take
F
a
alone.
chance on me.
Yeah.
So I put on a big act. Oh, that guy's crazy. And you know what? I turn around and go, excellent,
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to fuck with me. And that's
Because
what they
they know
do. I mean,
they know they
yeah, a
testing
lot of
you
them
out.
had respect for me because I got right in their face. I stood up to them. And I went to a particular place with shampoo blades ready to acting like I don't get me wrong, I was scared shit. I'm
Okay.
not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say I wasn't scared. Any man who's not afraid or
Of
have
the
fear
mob
of something,
is stupid. Yeah.
then you're not a man. But yes, I was scared. I went into a place by myself, and those guys shook my hand when I left.
Mm.
They wanted me to work for them.
Of course
I
they did.
started laughing. What?
Of course they wanted you
Oh
to work
yeah.
for them.
They wanted me to work for them. They wanted me to be an arm for them.
See,
They
because you're
liked the
part
way my
Sicilian
tactics
anyway,
were.
right? Aren't you part
What?
Sicilian? Aren't you part Sicilian?
No, I'm part Sicilian. Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm half. Actually, what I am is I'm half Italian. I'm Forgian and Sicilian
Okay.
from my beautiful grandparents, and then I'm actually I have a little Irish, English, and Cherokee Indian, and
Okay.
then I also have from my grandmother's family. We have people that are descendants of the Moors in my
Oh wow.
grandmother's family.
Wow,
Yeah, so
Jimmy.
I have black blood in me.
I was gonna say,
My
Jimmy,
my
power to the
grandmother, my, what babe?
power to
Yeah,
the
listen, my grandmother was very proud of that. And you know what? She said to me, she goes, look, a lot of your family was from Sicily, and the Moors did invade Sicily hundreds of times and for hundreds of years. But yeah, I had cousins when I went there and visited. I had cousins that were completely dark skinned, black eyes, black hair, and they looked black. You can see they had a lot of black features. My grandmother's sister had a lot of black features, and my grandmother, of course, uh, my grandmother, her mother, married another Sicilian, and then my grandmother is pure Sicilian.
okay.
So yeah, so that kind of like washed out a little bit, but you could even see my aunt pointed out to me a couple times. Do you see your grandmother? Look at her face close, and she had the high pressed cheekbones. And I said, "Oh
Uh-huh.
my god,
Yeah.
yeah." So but I'm proud of who I am. I don't care that I'm mixed. I'm not all Italian. Who gives a shit?
Ain't
I
no
am what I am,
shame
and I'm
in
going
who
to be
you are.
proud of who I am. And people have called me a lot of names because of my Sicilian heritage. But guess what? Hey, you know what? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but your names, I laugh at people. Even when people say something to me now, or they talk stupid. Um, but again, I dealt with a lot of this nonsense from these people, and
Yeah.
and again, like I said, a lot of them are not murderers, but a lot of them are. A
Yeah.
lot of them. I've talked to some guys that had no problem killing somebody. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah. I'm
and,
thinking of a
and
couple of people I want to talk about. But yeah, man. Okay. So check it out. What about the well, sorry.
Bilotti brothers.
Yeah, the Bilotti brothers.
Yes, the
Tell me some
Bilotti brothers.
stories about the Bilotti brothers. And
Joe
where are they from?
Bilotti, Tommy Bilotti. Tommy Bilotti was the older brother. Joey was the younger brother. The Bilotti brothers were actually in a landscaping business with my father when they owned a club off of Van Duzer Street called Mirage. Now
Mirage.
I was Club Mirage. I was too young to go into it, but when I became 18, in 1978, um, my father was in a landscaping business with him a few years back, and then they, of course, they start this when you're young, you start things and you do things.
Yeah.
But my father was a very famous bowler. My father
Okay.
could have been a pro bowler. So the Bilotti brothers and my grandfather were always taking action on my father. Like guys from Brooklyn would come in and they go to
Okay.
Sunset Lanes and
Ah,
they duke it out. Like if you watch the bowling professional bowlers,
yeah.
but there was only two people. The rest of the lanes are closed down. There are only these two lanes are open. So the
Uh,
Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens, and North Jersey, and Fort Lee.
so they had
So my
representatives
father,
from all the neighborhoods.
yeah. So Bilotti brothers used to take action on my father bowling. They became friends. You talk. Hey Sal, let's open up a landscape business. Hey, we're getting into construction. My father was a butcher. My
Okay.
father was doing, crazy stuff, but everybody knew everybody.
You know what?
Joe Gordon.
Butcher is a lost profession. I wish I could find me a butcher. I really do. I trust that meat more than anything.
Oh man, you know what? Why don't you see butcher shops anymore? Because things are so expensive. You're going to pay $14 in the supermarket. When you go to a butcher shop, you're going to pay $22.
Yeah, I get it.
That's why you
But
don't see a
there's a
lot of
different
stores
quality.
anymore.
There's a different
Yeah,
quality to that meat. You know.
yes, it is. They make
It,
their own chopped meat.
yeah. Yeah.
You know
And
what
a
I'm
lot of the
saying?
sausage and stuff is fresh.
I want to tell you, there was a lot of good things in the 70s and the 80s with mobsters because they did keep neighborhoods clean.
Yeah.
They did help everybody. It wasn't just white people. The mob was very open to bringing people in. They brought the black mob in. They brought people to work in
I
Little
mean,
Italy.
that's who they partnered with for the drug trade.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah. Well,
partnered
when
with
the
that.
Italians got heavy in the drug trade, what do you think happened? How do you think, it was the black mobs that came in and distributed it and make it?
Yeah,
Look at that guy, Lucas, man. I mean,
Frank
he
Lucas.
was
Yeah.
involved with the Italian mob. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
definitely, definitely.
They didn't discriminate. It's a bunch of bullshit when they say this one don't work with that one. That's if a guy from a Genovese family talks to another guy, and then that guy goes report, "Hey, look, this guy wants to do. Hey, we're going to make some action." Yeah, they work together. They
Yeah,
work hand in hand. It's all bullshit. Don't Oh, we don't work with that one. They most certainly do. They work together more so than ever. Because it's
and they
going back
used to
to the
work
old
together
days.
really well back in the day. It wasn't until
Well, it's going
black people
back to
started.
that.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's going back to that. A lot
Mm.
of the mob is not gone. They're just being more secretive about it. They're being more quiet. They're not talking about it. They're not
So
being
they're not
flat.
John Gotti.
They're not John Gotti. John Gotti was very foolish. Again, he had no choice. And I knew Paul Castellano. I did work in his house. I knew Joe Gotti. You know, uh,
But didn't he find out there was a hit out on him? That's why he did what
well,
he did
yeah,
to them.
because Ruggiero, fat, what's his name, Ruggiero, Castellano found out that he was dealing drugs,
Yeah.
and Paul Castellano said it's a death sentence if you deal drugs.
So
So I knew a lot of the Castellanos. I knew a lot of the Gambinos, the brother, and all of them. I met them. I had confrontations with guys like Mikey Scars, who wound up becoming a rat. Yeah, I
oh,
had sit downs with these morons.
and
And
you
if I
made him a
tell you
rat.
some of the stories of how I put them in their place, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, man. So back to the Bilotti brothers. I know I'm kind of skipping around a little bit. Let's
No,
get
that's
back to
okay.
the
Listen, when you talk shop like this, you do move around.
yeah.
What's very interesting, Malik, is that um, Joey Bilotti, Gotti knew that Joey Bilotti was a crazy tough guy.
Yeah.
He was a real monster, and not big, short stature, but he was stocky and he looked mean. You looked at him, you knew he will rip your head. He's crazy, and
Okay.
he knew. God, he knew that if it was all out going after them, because yeah, Castellano said, I want this crew gone." That would be it. Tommy Bilotti would. I mean, he had some ruthless people with him, you know. Um, and yeah, I mean, they knew what they had to kill him. They had to kill him. And I remember a guy, I forget his name. My God, it was a while ago, that was very close to them
Uh
and knew
huh.
my father as well, and the
Okay.
Serates brothers. And Joey Bilotti always was helpful to a lot of people. Like
Okay.
he made sure, "You okay? Is this one okay? How's this one doing?" And there was a greediness also that got Paul Castellano killed, is that they were greedy for themselves. They would
Oh
help
yeah,
only
definitely.
them, you
So you
know.
were a Castellano
So
fan?
what's that?
Were you a Castellano fan?
I got to tell you, the guy was a gentleman to me. I'm not going to say anything else. I mean, anybody even I met in his family were very nice to me. They were all very, very respectful people. And
Yeah.
I guess back then, I don't think a lot of his people in his family, especially his granddaughters, they were all, I mean, his son is a very, very nice guy. Beautiful, beautiful people.
Mm.
I was supposed to do some work in his house, but he had a phenomenal artist um, work. But I know that Phil Castellano was very hurt when he saw that about his father on the news, going to that steakhouse. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there
Yeah.
was a lot of
Getting gunned
people that
down
would have
by
stopped
in the
that. But
car, right? So he
yeah,
got gunned down
shot him
before
right
he
in
even.
front of Spark Steakhouse. Have you ever been in that steakhouse?
I haven't, and I think that's part of the
Yeah,
reason.
I was there a couple of times. It's really a good place. Very expensive, but it really is a very very classy steakhouse.
Okay, okay. So Paul got gunned down
But
before he got to the state, didn't he?
what's that?
Paul
Oh
got
yeah,
gunned down before then.
they came from both sides of the street, and they got Tommy Bilotti first, and Paul was getting out of the car, and they just they gunned them down, man. That's very sad, you
It
know.
is very sad. So did any of the Bilotti brothers ever wind up working with Gotti?
No,
Okay.
no. Tommy Bilotti, they were doing their own thing. Staten Island was like, hey, we ain't bothering with you. Of course, you got to pay your dues to your captain, and then that captain of that crew pays to it was a trickle
Keep
down
it up.
system. Everybody
Yeah.
was earning who was a better earner. The Gotti was not a good earner. He was a gambler. I mean, that guy would just literally. He was a bad gambler. He'd gamble if an ant was going to make it across the street faster than the other ant.
Oh no, that's
It just,
craziness.
oh yeah, he was a degenerate gambler. He was also very jealous of a lot of people because he really himself did not. He was a thug. He didn't
Mm.
have the ability to make money. He was not smart like Sammy Gravano, who was really the brains behind everything, and he was really a moneymaker. That guy.
So he
But
was the
the
one
Bilotti
behind the set.
brothers, the Bilotti brothers never worked with them, and they were Castellano guys, and you really there's a buffer between all these people. That buffer is a capo or
Yeah,
somebody that, hey, look, we're gonna do this, we're gonna follow. We're not gonna bend the rules, we're not gonna come after you. We're no retaliation. There was a lot of people pissed off. There was a
really.
lot of
Yeah,
people pissed off. Oh
it
yeah,
makes
there
sense.
was
It makes
nobody
sense.
liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
They wanted to kill Gotti because you just don't do that. But Gotti knew. He could have made it. He was not like Carlo Gambino. If you notice, Carlo Gambino would sit in his kitchen table and his wife was making him lentil soup, or he'd eat a plain chicken. He was a real gutsy Italian, but he was very, very quiet. You didn't know
Hmm.
about him. He was an old man sitting in his house.
Yeah,
He was smart. He was very smart, but yeah, he used John Gotti to do a lot of stuff for him, and that's where John a lot of doors opened. He became a capo, Gotti, but he didn't run a money making crew. He really just they were thugs, and they were robbing
and
places,
bullies.
and then they were mugging people. They'd rob a rich lady's house, or they were dealing drugs. They were thugs. Oops, sorry, was thugs, and they didn't. God, Castellano didn't like that.
Yeah,
He didn't like that. He didn't like that these guys were.
we're out there being crazy. Yeah, and bringing attention to them. I get it.
Yeah, well, he wanted to turn. Paul Castellano wanted to turn the family and get away from that. And if you ever watched The Godfather, a perfect example of that was how. Um, he was trying to get into Vegas and do the gambling and get out of all the craziness and all the nonsense.
Yes.
But in that business, you can't. You're doing either prostitution now, you're doing drugs, they're doing they're kidnapping. What do they call it? Taking these
Oh,
women, right?
sex slaves.
What?
Yeah, sex trafficking.
Yeah, yeah, sex trafficking. And stuff that a lot of this involves these guys because these girls disappear, which is horrible.
Mm.
They're on a plane. They're sent to Siberia. They're sent to who knows where they're going
So
to
they
these
kidnap
Arab
U.S.
countries.
girls and sending them overseas.
Yes,
Oh wow.
and it's really sad. But a lot of the Sicilian mob were doing that. And I'm sure they're involved in it because anything that makes money and these guys don't want to work or pay their bills or do the right thing,
So it's
Yeah,
human trafficking.
yeah,
And they may not
yeah.
just be getting sex slaves. They may be getting like laborers for people too.
Hey, listen, who the hell knows? All I know is that they're kidnapping women, and that's a disgrace. But,
Yeah, it's insane.
the mob is the mob is a fucked up thing, man. They're not normal people. If they were normal, you wouldn't be hearing about this craziness.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was I was saddened about it because here I am. I'm studying my ass off. I'm trying to be an amazing professional. I'm trying to do good. You get dirt in your face from low lives, and I have to deal with this. Who the hell are these people that I have to deal with you? I
yeah. They're
mean,
taking the
did I
easy
get
route.
bothered? No, I was Sal Louis' son. He was friends with Sal Cerise, and he was friends. He grew up with the Bilotti brothers, and he grew up with these guys. It's not what you know. I got to tell you something about my father. My
Okay.
father wasn't there. My father was a very tough guy, and he not a tough guy. He acted like and I'm not afraid to say this stuff, as I always say, because it is the truth, and it's been given to me.
Yeah.
But my father said to me, I ever had a problem, Sal Race took care of it right away for me. And, I looked at my father and, what I said to him? And again, I got him in silence. I said, you know what, Dad? I'm sorry, but I don't dance with the devil.
Hmm.
He looked at me and I think, you know, I
Do you
think
think
that
that
edged
hurt his
him.
feelings?
Well, I think in a lot of ways he had resentment towards me because I'm proud that I never was a part of those people.
Yeah, as you should be.
A lot of people turn around. Oh, you talk about the mob. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Pardon my expression, but you know what I'm saying? Shut up.
Yeah,
Shut
that's
your mouth.
yeah. Please
Shut
mind
your
your
mouth.
business. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, but I went into a deli one time and this plumber guy gets out of a plumbing truck and he's talking normal. Yeah, Harry, and when we get in there, I go in there, maybe because I'm a big guy and my energy, I put my energy out and I know when I walk. All of a sudden, this guy goes, "Oh, maybe I should have got a cold sandwich. You got the right idea. I'm waiting like an hour." He was in there 5 minutes. He's waiting an hour. He starts talking like a rebel wise guy.
Oh yeah,
So
and
I
he's
look
trying to
at
get
him,
you involved in it.
yeah, and I'm looking at him and I'm saying, "Buddy, 5 minutes ago you were walking in the store and talking normal. Why are you talking like this? Are you trying to show off or impress me? The only thing you're making me look at you is that you're a freaking moron and you're a jerk. Stop acting like an idiot, especially
Exactly.
when you're not one." Yeah, and the guy, I ran into him like you run into everybody on Staten Island, and here was this guy, and he goes, and they all said, "I'm crazy. Oh, that guy's crazy. Oh, he's crazy." Even when I
What?
was doing my artwork, yeah, who the hell builds grottos and sculptures trees out of concrete? Okay, I'm eccentric, but a lot of real wise guys got me. They understood me,
Yeah.
and a lot of them said, "Hey, Jim, a lot of these guys respect you." I said, "I don't want their respect." Even then, I said, "Hey, I just want you to leave me alone.
That's it.
Because the minute you get involved with me, that's when you're going to find out who I really am." That's my MO. That's what I put out there. Holy
Yeah.
shit, this is what he said to me. I went like this. I told him. And I mean, he goes, "Yeah, you got to watch out for that guy." I've heard people walk away from him and say, you got to shoot that guy. You can't fight that guy. You got to shoot him,
Oh Lord.
you know? And what happened was one day a guy came in my restaurant and I kicked him off the side of his head. He was 6 foot. There's a good 9 of them, I would say.
Why'd
I'm
you
by
kick him so
myself and I didn't want them up in my restaurant. And the one guy went to go grab me. And
grab you?
I took a flying roundhouse right to his face. The guy went, he was gone. You
Ooh,
didn't even see him. And I put my leg down and I went like this, and they all went put their hands up. And they went like this. Whoa, 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 hey, take it easy. I said, "No, I'm not taking it easy. You're going to take it easy. You're going to take your friend and you're going to get the fuck out of my restaurant. You're never going to come in this place again. Do you understand me?" But everybody thought I was pussyfooting around with these guys, and they were part of my place. But you know, Yeah, there was a time where there was guys coming in there and they were trying to eat for free, and but I knew something that they didn't know. I now know who they are.
Yeah.
So whenever they came in, I had federal friends, and they came in too.
Yeah.
And what did
Okay.
they do? They went out. They knew the guy goes, Jimmy, I got you. I know that. I know that. I know. And this guy, particular guy, not to mention their names, who gives a shit? But not to mention their names, babe. But what was very interesting is that they said to him, yeah, hey, listen, this is your place. You come in here. No, no. What do you mean? They were telling this one particular guy that got out of jail. I think he was a capo. I don't know. I really forget his name, and I really don't care. But he's probably gone. I hope
Mm.
so.
I mean, living
But
that life.
he probably did pass away. But the minute those guys came in, my friends came in and just said a couple of things to them. Oh, we're here a lot. They never came back in that place ever again.
Good. Good for you, Jim.
That, and yeah, so I was smart about it. A guy, Vinny Nunez, real piece of garbage. I hope he hears this because he's in Jersey. He was sent to Jersey, but um, he said some really derogatory things. He looked at my daughter and he looked down at her and said, maybe I'll grab your kids. Now, he was opening up a fish tank store. At that particular moment, I had to make a decision. Do I twist his head off his body and put it in one of the fish tanks?
Oh Lord.
Do I beat the living crap out of him and smash every fish tank on top of his head? Do I break every arm and rib and bones and knees and ankles and wrists in his body? Do I sprain his back and his neck in literally 3 minutes?
We get it,
Or
Jim. We're gonna whoop his
so I
ass.
said, what?
I said,
No,
we
so
get
I
it,
went
Jim.
like
We're
this.
gonna beat him down.
No, at that time, this is where Zen comes in the study of my Indian karate, which saved my life many a time. So what I did, Malik, I went to a particular gentleman, which I have some respect for, so I won't mention his name, but ruthless murderer. So I walk in, I'm building a Pazzo restaurant, um, and a guy, this particular gentleman, some Canarsie guys, he sees me in a restaurant. Now I saw him, but I didn't even look at him.
You said Canarsie?
What's that?
You said they were from Canarsie?
Yeah, they were Canarsie crew, the Gambino crime family.
Okay.
And he comes over and he sits down with me. I'm eating my breakfast, and I said, "Hey, Sal, how are you?" He goes, "You didn't see me?" I said, "I didn't know if that was you, Sal." And he goes, "Well, you just walked by us." I said, "Well, I have no respect for you guys." He goes, "You have no respect for us?" I said, "Yeah." I says, "Isn't it a fact?" I said, "Are you responsible for Vinny Nunez?" He goes, "Yeah." Well, Vinny Nunez said this and he said that, and he did say these things, but I let them know that. The next thing I see Vinny Nunez, where I didn't have to dirty my hands and get involved with a moron, they did that for me, where he has to walk around with a cane for the rest of his life.
Mm.
They smashed his leg so bad.
So that's why you asked the question, don't you know who the blink I am?
That's right. And you know what? I'm a lot. You have to in life be a lot smarter and sharper than them,
Yeah, you
which
do.
is not really too hard. There are some really smart ones. I don't have to mention their name, but there are very good guys
I mean, Meyer
that
Lipsky
are
was
very
brilliant.
smart, and they're criminals, but they're smart.
Yeah.
And a lot of them do legitimate businesses now. They really don't get involved in thug stuff.
Facts. Facts.
And yeah, it's changed a lot, Malik. It really has. It's become, that a lot of people don't have respect anymore. That's why you see a lot of people shooting everybody. That's why you saw those guys in Philadelphia. They were just killing everybody. They were slaughtering everybody.
Wow.
And you know,
So the
and,
mob
and you,
compared so the mob in 1970, you believe is better than the mob in 2023?
Wow. That's a really strange question because the mob in the 70s you didn't screw around with because you got away with a lot more shit.
Yeah.
I mean, John Gotti went on Staten Island and killed John McBratton right
Mm.
in a fucking restaurant, and he got away with it. He did
Jeez.
a couple of years and he murdered a guy. Sorry, man. These people are they're ruthless animals, man. They're murderers, they're thugs, they're thieves. The 70s was bad.
Mm.
Man, I grew up in the 70s as a teenager, and I'm like, man, there was motorcycle gangs working with the mob and going into a restaurant and blowing the freaking thing up.
Mm.
I saw mobsters driving by with a pipe bomb and throwing it in a guy's car right on Highland Boulevard.
Jeez
And
Louise.
I was 6. It was 1976. I'll never forget that. I said, holy shit. And we all ran back, and my friends going, what are you? Guy's car. He didn't die. The pipe bomb made, if he got hurt, he got really messed up, bleeding and everything. But the guy didn't die.
Wow.
I knew Frankie Coppola wanted to know who the hell I was, and that was the guy they blew up in front of the Bagel Nut. But his body fat, he was so heavy, the body fat saved him from getting killed. Right on
Mm.
Richmond Avenue and Victory Boulevard, right at the corner, Bagel Nut.
Jeez.
All mobsters would go in there, and that's the time they were wearing the zoot suits and they were on the phone talking loud. Yeah, you tell that guy out there, I could have.
You imitated it so well. Do that again.
Oh yeah, Malik, I got these guys down. I dealt with them my whole life. Yeah, you tell that guy over there, I'm gonna crack his head open when I see him. I don't know what's going on here. A guy was trying to have a card game. He goes, do you know that I'm the guy that you talk to about your card games? I said, this is how this shit went down. One guy got me across the street from the restaurant, wanted to talk to me because somebody was building Club Atlantis, and not to mention any names, but he goes, hey, listen, let's go get a piece of coffee. So I went like this. I said, okay, you have a piece of coffee, I'll have a cup of cake.
Yeah. See, that's funny, Jim. That's
You
funny.
know,
A piece of
normally you
coffee.
would say, let's go get a piece of coffee.
Let's go get a
All
piece
right.
of coffee. Cake.
Okay, yeah. So I went like this. You go get a piece of coffee. I'll go get a cup of cake.
And what was his reaction to that?
We should a restaurant on Highland Boulevard off of, what the heck was that street? What's that street, damn it? I can't think of it. But the guy goes, what, you find that funny? I said, buddy, you don't find that funny? You just said, let's get a piece of
A
coffee.
piece of coffee.
So, so I start laughing again. He goes, you laughing at my expense? Hey, listen, whether you want to know this or not, but you said something that's very hysterical
You
and
said
funny to me.
stupid, fool. And I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm laughing.
So, yeah, he started talking to me. And then after this whole conversation, I said, okay, I'll give a thought on that. He goes, you're going to give a thought on that?
Yep.
Frank, this guy, he's going to give me a thought on that. I said, you know what? Now I'm not giving any thought on it. The answer is no. And I walked away from him. I never saw him again after that. I don't know. Then this girl, Charlene, I actually liked this girl, but I found out she was full of a big slob. So I was like, no. And she goes, oh, I heard Ronnie One Arms was here. And I said, Ronnie One Arms? I said, who the hell is Ronnie One Arms? This is a true story. And I said, Charlene, I never, oh, you never saw Ronnie One Arm? No. And you could tell Ronnie One Arm, if I do see him, he's going to be Ronnie No Arms.
These names are hilarious.
Restaurant.
Ronnie One Arm. Did he only have one arm though? For real?
I have no idea. I never met the guy, but I wound up watching him a month later get arrested in jail. And guess what? He had no arm. He was hanging off the side.
He was disabled.
So a guy comes into my restaurant. He goes, yeah, I heard you tell somebody in here, I don't have to mention no name, but you said Ronnie One Arm. If he meets you, he's going to be Ronnie No Arms. Oh. I said, yes, I did say that. Because if anybody's going to come in my restaurant and threaten me and you only have one arm, I think I'm going to decide to take the other arm. And that's when I said, yes, he'll be Ronnie No Arms.
Oh,
So,
so you actually met him and he said that shit to you?
no, I never met him. The guy
Oh
never
no,
came in the
one of his
restaurant to
friends
know
came.
it. What these guys don't have any cajones, babe. They're cowards. And you know what
Oh,
was even funnier? About a month later, I remember seeing him in the Daily News and the New York Post, Ronnie something one arm, and I went, "Wait, that's the same guy,"
that's the
and
same
he
dude.
really did have a bum arm. So
Oh wow.
yeah, babe, I knew these people directly, intimately. Yeah,
Yeah.
very
So
much
let's
so.
get back on the Bilotti brothers. Tell us a story
Yeah,
about that.
I got to tell you, Tommy, when I was in the movie business with Jules Nasso, Tommy Bilotti had a situation with Parisi, son, and very nice guy, very nice man. And Tommy Bilotti came in to talk to Jules, and Tommy said, "Hey, your Sal's son, yeah, Tommy, I know your son Jimmy." Oh, he goes, "Yeah, my boy Jimmy." I said, "Yeah, he did a couple of elevators for me." "Oh, thank you so much." That's what kind of a man he was. No, absolutely, Tom. It's my pleasure, man. I remember seeing him like when I was 27, 28. This is 1988. I was 28 years old. And I said to Tommy, "Hey, I heard him, I saw your brother. I'm very sorry, Tom." Because I knew Joe, I didn't go to
Yeah.
nobody's funeral or anything. I'm not intimately involved with them at all. They were gangsters and monsters, and I'm a working step.
You're an
I always
almost
show
law
them.
abiding citizen.
Yeah, I'm a law citizen. Yeah. But, the ones back then and that talk like that, they were all gentlemen. If you told them the truth and you worked with them and everything was so copacetic, you really had no problems in that business. The minute you tried to do the flash and pizzazz and all craziness and spit in people's face, and I remember a guy when heck was his name? Oh my God, I forget. Nicky Carrazzo
Okay.
became the Gambino. Vinny Nunez was in that crew, and
Okay.
that stupid puke yelled out, "Now we can do whatever we want." Could you imagine that?
No, not
That's
at
what he
all.
said. And I'm like, looked at this guy, and I was like, wow, these people are nuts. And I was invited to a party at the El Carib, which is a really big mob hangout in
Okay.
off of the Bell Parkway. I don't know. I think it's in Brooklyn. Yes, it's in Brooklyn. So the El Carib was a catering hall, big affairs thing. And Vinny Nunez at the time, I was building La Rouge Cigar Club for him. So he wanted to introduce me to some people who want to do business. Here I am. I'm thinking he's a businessman. And there I am shaking hands with Nicky Carrazzo.
Mm.
And Nicky Carrazzo said to Vinny Nunez, "Can we grab this guy? So you see what went down with these people? Can we
Can we
get him?
grab this
Get a
guy?
piece from him?" Yeah, Vinny Nunez used to ask me. All of a sudden, he started saying, "Jim, you think you can give me a couple of hours every week? Bring me some money. And I went like this. No, absolutely. I never said anything. I just looked at him, and I never gave them money. They never tried anything. But
Did your partner give him money in the restaurant business?
my partner owned a gambling debt,
Mm.
and right behind my back, he was stealing money out of my restaurant, paying these guys. I remember a guy, gentleman, very nice guy. Um, I remember a guy coming into the restaurant. We took out a transmedia card, which is a card they give you like $40,000. You upkeep your restaurant, buy new equipment, and then they come in. You keep the liquor, and they take the food, and you pay it off that way. Well,
Okay.
I remember after my partner robbed the restaurant. I remember this guy coming in. He goes, "Jimmy, I noticed you took the machines out." I said, "Yeah, we finished paying you. We made the last payment." He goes, "Well, what about the 45,000 for your restaurant in Pennsylvania?" It wound up being that I could have had them both arrested and a federal and state offense in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
in New York, and
Mm.
a federal offense for having a transfer across state lines. Instead, the guy grabs my arm and he goes, "Jimmy, please don't." I said, "I'll take care of it. I'll get the money from him." So what do you think going on? They're all involved in everything. But if I did, I was going to call the district attorney's office, and they would have been, that's grand larceny. They would have got an ex-detective, mind you. This is Robert's Foley's father's an
Mm-hmm.
ex-detective.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to have to deal with these people on one-on-one basis a lot of my life, babe. And Bilotti brothers are another chapter and story in this whole wicked world. I mean, they do crazy things? I would say more Joey. Joey was really a gangster. He was a gangster 24/7. But his brother Tommy, through his brother, got deals and connections and contracts, and he was a contractor. And they got land and property, and they would get a bank to give him money. And he was more of a working guy, nice guy. I got to tell you, he's always a gentleman to me. And his son Jimmy Bilotti is just he is a sweetheart. That guy is, you know, every time I see him, we're not, very close friends, but we know each other. But always like, hey, a lot of respect and a lot of, very tough guy. But he was just a sweet, sweet guy. He really was. And Joey, I only met a couple of times. My father knew him more, but they were both, realistically, they were both men. They were not cowards. And as far as what Tommy did, I have no idea the depth of what he did. Who the hell knows? You know. But for him to get killed like that was just not right. And again, Gotti was afraid of him. If Gotti was afraid of anybody, it was Tommy Bilotti. He was a bad dude. Yeah, he was a badass. That guy. If you were going to scale him from a 1 to 10 in the mob, he's a 25. Yeah, yeah. He was just, and Gotti knew that, you know. It was very funny because he almost didn't go to that steakhouse, but it was set up with some heavyweights where he wanted, Gotti, Castellano would have never won unless it was something.
Yeah.
But, I sat in on a lot of this stuff, especially when you're talking about building $1.5 million restaurants. There's all these people involved.
Facts.
I was involved with Danny Aiello on Staten Island
Okay.
when they were taking the port over. And I was going to do $150,000 mural from like the first scenes of when the people were filming to now modern, and then I was going to do this like space age thing and
Okay.
how they advanced in the film business. So I sent the proposal. They agreed to it. Next minute, I heard that guys that invested money because it was a federally and state funded by the city. They found out that mafia guys were putting money into the job, and that's why it got dismantled. They would have put Silver Cup out of business.
Wow.
But now moving, yeah. Hey, after I built the ICP building, which I got threatened maybe 25, 30 times, shotguns cocked at me, talking about guys that were murderers.
Wow.
I was dealing with, oh man, we got to talk about the ICP building. That's a story in itself. On the next mock fails, that's a whole. I mean, if you will think I'm bullshitting you, it was so unbelievable what I had to deal with. I'm talking about
Wow.
uh, five different families, people, and over 200 wise guys coming in, threatening, doing. It was nuts.
Jeez, over
But
200?
I was
You
smart.
have the
I was
energy.
smart. What, babe?
I said, how'd you have the energy over 200?
Oh yeah, there was over. There had to be 3 concrete contractors. There was 5 different framers on the job. Every one of those framers were threatened. The concrete guy walked off the job, and that day packed his bags and moved to his mother's house in South Carolina. Got out of the state, took the
Wow.
$5,000 deposit I paid him, and then there was the guys that stole. The guy Ray Alvarez that came and threatened me. There was Mike Gennady and the guy Cosmo. And then there was four other guys that came in from Brooklyn that wanted to get the stucco job.
Okay.
Then there was the stucco guy that did the job, and the guy that was with him said I owed him 25,000. They lost the check.
He
Then there
lost the
was the
check.
guy. Then there was the guy at the pizzeria that took the copper out that I was giving it to this poor salvage guy, and they
What?
stole the copper. That is the funniest story you will ever hear in your life.
Oh
I
my
call,
God.
I call it my pizzeria connection.
Okay,
But that
okay.
will definitely be in the next Mob Tales. That place, I mean, oh my God, man. Oh my God. I think about it now. It's like crazy, man.
See.
I
Yeah.
had MK40, AK-47 assault rifle shells put in my truck.
Why would
Yeah.
just try to have you
Phil
arrested?
Mancuso. Phil Mancuso put a brand new pack of AK-40 assault rifle shell bullets on the seat of my truck. My worker comes running in. They wouldn't let nobody work for me, so I had to hire these young guys and kids and try. I was like depressed, and I'm trying to fix this house. But they would, I mean, that's how bad they got. They were jealous of me. They didn't want me doing the work. I had Phil Mancuso call me up and say, Jim, I think it's in your better interest that we do a joint venture. I said,
That
Phil,
we
you
do a
wouldn't even
joint
give me the
venture
time.
thing?
What?
No, no. I'm just I'm
Yeah,
mocking them.
yeah. And
Go ahead.
it's just like the stories are just insane. It's
Really?
insane. Eppolito goes in and digs out the back fountain because this one schmuck, Van Alphen, thought he was going to take over the job. But I said two words to him after he stole the copper and chased the guy off and tried to take over the job. I said an Indian proverb, which means your karma is coming. And
Uh,
meanwhile, the next year he lost his eye. So he has a patch on his eye. I
Jeez
ran
Louise.
into him before I ran into him before I moved into Florida, but I looked at him and he went to go say hello and he put his head down because he knew.
He knew who
Plus,
you
my
were.
face and my energy was just like, "Are you nuts?" And then I
Yeah.
went like this. I said, "Didn't I tell you karma was coming for you? Didn't I
Wow.
tell you, my friend?" I
And he
said, "I
still
told you
won't.
karma was coming." Yeah,
So
there
look,
was a
shout out
guy.
to Furious Styles. I'm sorry, Jim. Let me do one thing. Shout out to Furious
Yeah.
Styles. Thanks for joining us. He asked, "Did you change that awful theme song with a smiley face?" I said, "Didn't know about it. We'll play it just for him next week." And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim. Keep going.
So anyway, um, this guy, uh, this guy Phil Mancuso.
Uh huh.
Um, is that what we wait? We're talking about Phil Mancuso, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He wound up. I said to him, I said, Phil, karma will get you in the most loneliest way.
Mm.
And he wound up dying in Alaska from a heart attack
Wow.
alone in his hunting cabin.
The same guy with the
And
patch eye.
he was 72. Yeah, he was 72 years old. There was a guy, he actually said to me, he goes, Jimmy, you think you could kick my fucking ass? That's what he said to him. I pardon my expression. I don't like to curse. And I said, Phil, I will rip your I will rip your eyeballs out of your head and shove them in your mouth, and you'll still be able to see out of them. And I go, if I don't kick your ass in 5 minutes, I said, Phil,
Wow.
muscles don't help you. So I actually came inside and I came across with what we do, this crossing block and then an inverted chop. So I came with a crossing block and then I gave him a thumb strike to his temple. And I cracked out his knee and he wobbled and he actually almost went down and I grabbed him.
Oh.
I said, Phil, stop being a tough guy because you never know when you're really going to meet one.
Stop coming for me.
And he looked at me. He was shocked that I was able to just do that. I mean, he was big. This guy was a weightlifter.
And
He
you
goes,
took him
Jimmy,
back.
look at me. I'm a freaking millionaire. And I said, I went like this. I said, Phil, I am so happy for you. Money is not everything in life. Money is not happiness. But if you're happy, buddy, I am really glad for you.
Awesome.
And yeah, I could tell you stories that in your head, but they are all true.
Well, I mean, we got other episodes coming up. And on that note,
Yeah,
Jim, I think
I
you
see
gave
you,
some
babe.
great I think you gave some great advice at the end. And yeah, that definitely is something to live by. You know what I mean?
You
So
better believe it.
thank you everybody for joining us this evening from for another episode of Mob True Tales. We got Jimmy. Jimmy's awesome as usual. Thank you, Jimmy, for sharing those stories with us, man. It was
Oh, man, no problem. Good night, everybody.
good
Bless,
night,
man.
everybody. And Furious, thanks for logging in for us, brother. You guys have a great night. Good night.